Dr. Intern, Officer Cabrera, Kid with Hat, what are you up to?
Beaks in the Shell is a weird episode. And I don't think it's weird in terms of, like, anything about the story is weird. In other words, I don't feel anything here doesn't make sense. I don't feel that way. But I do feel like it like the structuring and how this episode is sort of set up is what makes it weird. Especially after this whole break. Like, consider the fact that the last time, well, not really the last time, but one of the few times we saw of the family was like, okay, we're all set and ready to go, stick it to foul. And then we got the split sort of Swanson team, and then we got a bunch of stuff. Really felt like the story was going forward. Like, now our protagonists have an actual set goal, which is to get all these toys and artifacts and whatnot before foul does. And then just to see this here after the split, after that delay or that break, which I hate breaks. I hate mid-season breaks. They're terrible. All right, I get it. You want to stretch it out as long as possible, but there has to be a better way to do this. That just has to. Ugh. I'll even accept one episode a month. All right, it's all better than going 2-3 months without an episode at all. And this episode here, I would probably appreciate more if I binge the series, because those gaps do sort of kill the momentum. So the premise of this episode really is hopefully the last time we see Mark Beaks and Fenton and Gandry relationship going up a notch. The problem is, though, there's the specter of Bradford. And the idea that this is supposed to be Huey's season, I don't quite feel like this was how the episode should have been told. The episode should have been told, at least from my perspective here, and, I'm not on the writing team, so, I should probably shut up, but whatever. This should have been Huey realizing he can trust Gandra D. Huey, in my mind, is probably the second most skeptical after Louie. And Dewey should be the blind optimist who trusts everybody. And the fact that he just goes, well, it's Fenton, so Fenton's always right. Fenton's never always right. It doesn't quite work. And then Gandra D has this little sob story, which is a good story, but maybe this should have been set for a more intimate moment later in the episode, where we get the idea that Huey realizes he can trust her, and Huey does know how she feels, and that's how she and Fenton sort of bond. They're sort of outcasts. All three of them are sort of outcasts in their own family, and sort of. But that's not the story told here. The story's got too much going on, and the sad thing is, a lot of it's good. Like Fenton's mother, she's great. Gyro's always been fun ever since they found the right rhythm for his character. Ever since Astro Boy, I think he's been on a great progression. Although I kind of miss the idea that he'd be insane from season 1. Now he's just sort of more well rested. I don't know. Like he's. It seems like Astro Boy was his growth. And Mark Beaks. Oh, Mark Beaks. When I remember when I first saw Mark Beaks. In the promo images and how he was set up. Like he's this new money. He's this tech giant. All on social media. And I thought, okay, he's going to be a really cool villain for Scrooge. He's not. Scrooge literally does not care who Mark Beaks is. He really doesn't. And he's not even, he's somewhat of a threat, but like a lot of the villains in Ducktales, he's not a threatening threat.
Greatest scientific achievement in his history! My hot new software update is guaranteed to reduce the chance of your Waddle phone catching fire by a jaw-dropping 7%, bringing it down to a solid 50-50. Any questions? Wait, where is everybody?
Yes, why are you still a thing?
Hey!
I get he's dangerous to the story, to thinking that he wants the Gizmo duck suit and other things, but otherwise he's just so utterly pathetic that I kind of don't care if he wins, because I know someone's gonna overthrow him. And heck, even the episode itself doesn't care. As soon as Beaks gets an advantage, Fenton just goes, no, we're gonna win right now. And to be okay, so I did a series on Disney villains, and Beaks has reminded me of another class of Disney villain. Another class, and it's the buffoon. And I'm gonna do a video on it. I'm gonna do a video on it. Probably out next month. Well, next month from when next month starts. In other words, April, I'm hoping, at the latest. And I can't take him seriously. I mean, I get it. He's that kind of tech billionaire. He's more of like a modern day take on Thomas Edison. That Edison doesn't invent things, which he did, but he's more of a businessman than an inventor. It's kind of bad in my opinion, because it sort of undercuts the idea of investors, whose job is, I can see something and I'm going to invest money to make it better. All right? That ultimately will be the difference between Scrooge and Beaks, but the problem is, again, Scrooge and even Glumgold don't care about Mark Beaks. And I'm hoping it's the last time we see him. This is apparently supposed to be the last season period, and I don't want to see another episode of Mark Beaks trying to, once again, wasting my time. Gandra Dees, this reveal that she and Fenton are in a relationship kind of just comes out of nowhere. I don't quite remember the last time they were both together, but, Huey should be more skeptical of this because, not even 3 episodes ago, she was stopping them from trying to get treasure. She actively was in a position to kill Dewey and Webby. He was like, oh, all right, Fenton's in love. I don't know. And Huey is supposed to be, in my mind, and from how it's set up and from other seasons, he's supposed to be the deciding factor in the story against Fowl. Dewey was the deciding factor against Magica. Louie was the key figure against Glumgold's family in season 2. And so Huey should be the deciding factor in the final battle against Fowl. And truth be told, thematically it works. It works actually even better than it did with the other two. Dewey versus Magica. Magica's created Lena, the idea of family just to hurt someone. Glumgold does the same thing, but also Glumgold is motivated by a sense of greed and a desire to beat Scrooge, and even sort of disregarding the idea of family. Family is just a bunch of people together. And Huey's going to be the most interesting because Bradford's a great foil for him, because they're both sort of the same. Huey is about logic and order and everything being neat and efficient. That's what Bradford wants. In his mind, the best thing for the world is if he rules it from the shadows. It's great. He's going for that same efficiency. And Bradford could totally tempt Huey. He could totally tempt him with it because at some point Bradford is going to throw what happened to Della in his face. All right? And I'm still standing by the fact that Fowl was the reason that Della ended up lost in space. Or just on the moon. I don't know. That's how I feel about this episode. It was probably better if you binge watch the whole series, which this new Ducktales hasn't really gotten me on, but whatever. Anyway, with that in mind, let's bring this video to close here. If you're new to the Bug Think Tank, feel free to like, comment, share, subscribe, check out some other videos, and I'll catch you all later. This is Bug Think Tank signing off. Thanks for watching, and as always, may your fandom serve you well.
It's glitching. Did you try actually closing applications instead of just minimizing them?
Of course!